Hello and welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about a feeling that, well, pretty much every IT pro knows all too well. That nagging suspicion that you don't really see everything that's happening on your own network. So, let's go ahead and turn on the lights.
So let me ask you, straight up, what are you blind to? I mean, really, what user action, what little system process, what potential vulnerability is just lurking there, right under your nose, but totally out of sight? And it's a huge deal, because what you can't see, you absolutely can't manage.
You know, for so many organizations, the IT environment is basically a black box. Sure, you know what goes in, you know what comes out, but all those incredibly complex things happening on the inside, all the logon attempts, the resource spikes, the data transfers, it's a total mystery. And that black box, it's just packed with risk.
And this is exactly where a platform like NetOpsVA comes into the picture. It's built from the ground up to do one thing: crack open that black box. The whole point is to deliver on three key promises: complete visibility, total control, and, this is a big one, provable compliance.
So to really see how it pulls this off, we're going to break it down. We'll kick things off with securing users, then we'll jump over to infrastructure health, then we'll get into the weeds of audits and compliance, and finally, we'll see how it all clicks together into one cohesive picture.
All right, first up, securing our users and their identities. This is all about the human side of the equation. You know, everything from those super frustrating account lockouts to the overall health of your entire Active Directory.
Okay, think about this for a second. It happens all the time. A user calls, they're frustrated, they're locked out of their account. Now, be honest. How long does it really take your team to figure out why? Are you just resetting the password and kind of crossing your fingers? Or can you actually dig in and find the root cause? Well, when you have the right tools, it's not a mystery anymore. It becomes this logical four-step investigation. You start by tracking all the logon failures to see where they're even coming from. Then you can review that specific user's logon history to spot any weird patterns. You can even check for things like inactive accounts that might be gumming up the works, which lets you resolve the lockout for good, not just for now.
And what makes this kind of rapid-fire diagnosis possible is seeing the whole picture at once. So instead of just blindly resetting a password, you're actually investigating the why. Is it a disabled account that's causing a conflict? Maybe an old, inactive account that's turned into a security risk? Or hey, maybe it's just a password policy that isn't working right. You can see it all from one spot.
The result here is a really fundamental shift. That task that was a total headache that took hours of guesswork, it's now a precise, quick process that literally takes minutes. That's a huge win.
And this whole proactive approach, it goes way beyond just one user. It applies to the very brain of your network. Active Directory. It means you're not just reacting to fires anymore. You can see every single change as it happens. You can make sure replication between your domain controllers is actually healthy, and you can even audit the LDAP queries that might be slowing everything down. It's about total system health, not just fixing whatever's broken today.
So, we've got our users secured. Now let's shift gears and look at the infrastructure they all depend on. This section is all about monitoring your system health to keep everything running smoothly, stable, and performing at its best.
You know, proactive monitoring, it always starts with the basics, your core hardware resources. With a platform like this, you're not guessing. You're tracking CPU, memory, and disk usage in real time. And that means you can spot a runaway process or low disk space before it causes a system-wide crash. You're getting ahead of the problem.
And here's what that looks like in practice. Just a quick snapshot. In a single glance, you get a complete health check. You can see the server is up and responsive, you can check its network usage, and, this is critical, you can confirm that no strange, unauthorized programs have been added to its startup. It connects availability, performance, and security all in one view.
So why does all this matter? I mean, why track all these little details? Because all of these monitoring features are serving one single ultimate business goal: achieving the highest possible system uptime. That 5 nines of availability, that's the gold standard. And this kind of proactive monitoring is exactly how you get there.
Okay, so our users are secure, our systems are healthy and humming along. The next big challenge is proving it. And that brings us to mastering audits and compliance, which covers everything from automated reports to controlling every single peripheral device.
Let's just take a moment to compare the old way with the new way. Manual auditing, it's slow, it's riddled with human error, it's almost always incomplete, and it's totally reactive. You're always looking backwards. An automated platform just flips that whole script. It becomes fast, accurate, truly comprehensive, and best of all, proactive.
Now, a massive part of compliance is locking down all of those potential data exits. This means you can finally answer those tough questions that probably keep you up at night. Who's printing sensitive documents? Are the permissions on our shared folders way too open? And the big one, what data is literally walking out the front door on USB drives? It's about having a complete audit trail for every potential leak point.
Which really brings us to this pretty provocative question. Do you really know where your data is walking? Because every time someone prints a file or plugs in a thumb drive, your sensitive data is on the move. And without visibility, you have zero control.
So let's bring it all home now. When you combine that solid user security with deep infrastructure health monitoring and airtight compliance auditing, what you get is an all-seeing platform. And that enables a fundamental shift from constant reactive firefighting to calm, proactive control. In the end, it all just comes down to these three words: visibility, control, and compliance. But they aren't just separate goals or buzzwords. They're three pillars that hold each other up to create a network that is genuinely secure and truly manageable. And this brings us right back to where we started this whole conversation. A platform like NetOpsVA is the tool that transforms IT. It takes that black box full of unknowns and scary risks and turns it into a clear, illuminated, and totally manageable environment where you can finally see everything that's going on. So, I'll leave you with one final thought to chew on. In today's world, with constant threats and ever-growing complexity, can anyone really afford not to know what's happening on their network? Thanks for joining us.